Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Boss Up and Glow Up with Lexi Sample, where we always touch on mindset, mental health, and just how to glow up and be the best version of yourself that you possibly can be. Life is hard and we are in this together, okay? And today we are talking about a truth that genuinely changed my mindset once I finally accepted it, and that's nobody is coming to save you. And I know that sounds kind of harsh and cutthroat at first. Like, I know some people hear that and immediately think, oh, damn, okay, aggressive. But stay with me because this is actually one of the most freeing realizations you can have. Because the second you stop waiting for somebody else to change your life, you start realizing how much power you actually have. And trust me, I did not always think like this. I used to spend so much time and energy waiting for some magical feeling to hit me finally. I thought one day I would wake up and suddenly become motivated, disciplined, confident, emotionally stable, productive, healed, all of this, that, and the third. Like, I genuinely thought successful people just woke up different one day. And that is not the case at all. Meanwhile, I was sitting there procrastinating, overthinking every possible scenario, emotionally eating when I was stressed. Oh, I would binge. Okay, I loved me some McDonald's back then. Starting routines and quitting them 3 days later, telling myself I'll start Monday, and then wondering why nothing in my life changed. And I think so many people are stuck right there, right now. You want better for yourself. You dream about becoming a different version of yourself. You know what you should be doing. You know what you want to be doing. But there's this weird gap between knowing and wanting and actually doing and pursuing. And the reason for that is because people are waiting to feel ready before they start. Babe, if you wait until you feel ready, you're gonna wait forever because you're never gonna feel ready. That's not what life is. And this episode is going to be one huge pep talk mixed with a reality check because I need you guys to know and understand that your life is happening right now, not someday. Not when you finally feel confident, not when someone loves you enough, not when life becomes easier, right now. We are all waiting for something. Why? We need to not. And I genuinely think one of the biggest reasons why people stay stuck is because they're constantly waiting for motivation, waiting on confidence, waiting till life simmers down, waiting to lose weight, waiting until they feel prettier, waiting until they heal, waiting until they have more money, waiting and waiting and waiting. And then it turns into a month, it turns into a year, and then it turns into a lifetime of waiting. And life is literally passing. Years are passing. Like sometimes I think about how fast time moves, and it's genuinely so scary because one day turns into a week and then it turns into a year. And suddenly you realize you've spent years talking about changing your life instead of actually making a change. And I feel like social media honestly makes this so much worse because everybody online makes transformation look immediate and aesthetic. Like they'll post a before and after, and suddenly they went from depressed and lost to waking up at 5 a.m., drinking matcha, journaling, Pilates princess, perfectly organized, six-figure business owner, mentally healed, glowing skin. Meanwhile, nobody talks about the actual in between stage, the crying, the inconsistency, the mental breakdowns, the setbacks, the awkward, scary phase, the days that you don't feel motivated, but you still get the fuck up anyway, the moments you want to quit. Nobody posts those nights where they're sitting in their bed crying because they're frustrated with themselves. I've literally had moments where I was so angry and pissed off about myself because I kept repeating the same habits over and over again. Like, even with fitness recently, like, there were days where I knew exactly what I should be doing, but emotionally, I wanted comfort instead. I wanted the brownies. I wanted the fast food. I wanted the quick dopamine hit. And it's not even about food specifically. Everyone has their own version, okay? Some people doom scroll, some people avoid, some people self isolate, some people stay in toxic situations, some people numb themselves with distractions. But the point of this is most people are constantly trying to escape discomfort instead of learning how to tolerate it. And that will keep you stuck forever. Nobody can heal for you. And this was honestly the hardest pill for me to swallow because I think deep down, everybody wants somebody to come save them. They want somebody to be like, please leave this situation. But if we're being real, who doesn't want someone else to make your life easier? Who doesn't want somebody to show up and magically fix everything, just wave a little magic wand and everything is okay? I think sometimes we fantasize about the relationship saving us, or the glow up saving us, or a new career saving us, or the weight loss saving us, or having more money saving us. But eventually, you realize external things can enhance your life, but they can't build an identity for you. And I learned this the hard way because there were periods of my life where I kept thinking, once I achieve this, then I'll finally feel good enough. And every time I got closer to the thing, I realized the insecurity came with me because healing is internal work. Nobody can go to therapy for you. Nobody can regulate your nervous system for you. Nobody can build your confidence for you. Nobody can stop you from self sabotaging except you. And I honestly think people stay attached to the fantasy of being saved because it removes responsibility. Because if somebody else saves you, then you don't have to risk failure. You don't have to be uncomfortable. You don't have to take accountability. But your life is too fucking important to spend it waiting for a rescue. And I think one of the most empowering things a person can realize is if nobody is coming to save me, then maybe I'm more capable than I thought. Your brain loves things that are familiar to you, even the familiar things that hurt you and break you. That's why people stay in toxic relationships or friendships and just toxic cycles in general. This is why people keep procrastinating. This is why people repeat self destructive habits. And this is why people stay emotionally attached to things that drain them. Because your brain is designed to keep you safe, not necessarily happy. And your brain associates familiar things with safety, even if the familiar thing is miserable as fuck. And that is why people stay in situations that are literally destroying them because at least they know what to expect. And honestly, I had to realize this with my own habits, even with something as simple as emotional eating. Like sometimes I do that because I realized food became like a comfort thing for me, not because I was physically hungry, but because my brain associated like food and snacks with relief, distraction, comfort, or like even a reward sometimes. Like I'll be like, oh, if I spend all this time studying, I will go get some ice cream. Like I would give myself a treat for doing something good. So every time I felt stressed out, overwhelmed, rejected, frustrated, super tired, my brain immediately wanted the familiar coping mechanism. And once I realized that, I stopped seeing myself as lazy or broken. I realized my brain was just conditioned. And the cool thing about conditioning is that it can be changed. But changing requires you to be uncomfortable. And that is the part nobody likes. We hate being uncomfortable. But confidence will come after the action. And I swear, social media has convinced everybody under the sun that confident people are just naturally like fearless. And that is not true in the slightest. Most confident people are terrified half the time. I am such a confident person, but I am scared. Life is scary. Like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life at all. It's scary. And I'm 27. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I want to go, but I'm still confident. I just learned how to act despite the fear. And confidence is built through evidence. Every time you do something hard, your brain collects proof that you are capable and you are strong. But if you spend your entire life avoiding uncomfortable situations, you're never gonna get that validation or that proof. And I think about this even with like creating content. Like, do you guys think I started posting online feeling fully confident? Absolutely not. I overthought everything, how I looked, how I sounded, what people would think of me, what people from my high school would think if they see it, if they're gonna judge me, or what if people think I'm cringe? And honestly, people did judge me. People did think I'm cringe, but I don't care. I don't care. I enjoy doing what I'm doing. And if I waited until I felt perfectly confident to start, I would have never posted on social media. I would have never done anything. And that's why I always tell people confidence is not something you have to wait for. It's something you build. You build it by embarrassing yourself a little, by trying, by failing, by surviving the awkward phase. And nobody talks enough about the awkward phase. Everybody wants to skip from the beginner to the expert immediately, but every successful person had a phase where they sucked, where they were uncomfortable, where they doubted themselves. And that phase is so normal. We should not be scared of it. I need everyone to hear me when I say this. Motivation is temporary. Depending on motivation is one of the fastest ways to stay inconsistent because motivation changes based on your mood, your stress levels, your hormones, if you got enough sleep, your environment, even literally everything. There are days where I feel super motivated, and there are days where I just want to lay in bed, eat snacks, and scroll on TikTok for the rest of the day. And that's normal. That's okay. But discipline is what carries you on the days that motivation disappears. And I used to think discipline meant punishment, like strict routines, never having fun, and waking up at 5 a.m. and struggling all the time. But discipline is really just self respect. It's keeping a promise to yourself, it's choosing your future self over your current impulses. And honestly, the hottest thing a person can have is self discipline. Self discipline is sexy, okay? Not because it makes you perfect, but because it builds self trust. When you continuously show yourself, oh, I said I was gonna do it and I did it, your relationship with yourself changes. And then confidence starts to show up in every area of your life because you trust yourself, because you stayed accountable. And this is what I tell everybody: you don't lack confidence, you lack the trust with yourself. And this realization genuinely changed my brain chemistry, okay? Because I kept saying I lacked confidence. But when I really truly thought about it, what I actually lacked was trust in myself. I didn't trust myself to stay consistent. I didn't trust myself to follow through. I didn't trust myself to stop self sabotaging. And every time you constantly abandon yourself, your brain notices. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, one more time won't hurt, I'll do it later, your brain starts learning that your words don't mean jack shit. But every tiny promise you keep builds self trust. And I'm talking about the littlest, tiniest problems like drinking enough water, going on the walk, posting the content you want to post, going to the gym, going to bed on time, not talking to the toxic person, and actually doing the thing that you said you were going to do. Those tiny moments matter way more than people realize because your identity is built through repeated actions and consistency, not through wishing and hoping and thinking you have motivation. No, consistent, repeated actions. And can we please normalize that healing is not always cute and aesthetic? Because social media has completely romanticized healing. People make it look like candles, journaling, like Pilates, like they just make it look so cute and fun. And sometimes healing includes those things, but real healing is also ugly sometimes. It's crying in therapy, it's grieving the old version of yourself, it's setting boundaries and then feeling guilty after, it's sitting with uncomfortable emotions instead of distracting yourself from them. Healing is work. And I honestly think people get discouraged because they think one breakthrough moment is going to erase years of unhealthy patterns and trauma. But your brain changes through repetition. And that is why healing takes being consistent. And I know consistency sounds boring, but consistency is literally what changes and saves lives, not intensity, consistency. Okay? I think one of the hardest parts about glowing up is realizing not everybody wants to grow with you. Because once you start changing, certain things stop feeling aligned. Certain conversations start to feel draining, and certain habits stop feeling good. Certain environments stop fitting you anymore. And honestly, that can feel really lonely at first because growth usually isolates you before it rewards you. You start to feel disconnected from old versions of yourself before a new life fully forms. And I think that's why so many people go backwards because loneliness makes you uncomfortable. Do not shrink yourself just because your growth makes other people uncomfortable. And do not abandon yourself, your future self, just because your old habits felt familiar. Sometimes the loneliness is temporary. Sometimes you're just in a transition phase. And honestly, some of the best things in my life started happening once I stopped trying to fit into spaces I had actually outgrown. Your future self is begging you to stop waiting. I genuinely need you to listen to this and think about this. What if the life you want is actually possible for you, but the version of you that creates it requires consistency? What if the future self is literally begging you to stop waiting and start becoming that person now? Because your future self is built through your daily choices, not someday, not eventually, now, right now. I think people underestimate how much their life could change in a year if they actually committed to themselves. 1 year of discipline, 1 year of emotional regulation, 1 year of healthier habits, 1 year of boundaries, 1 year of consistency. Your entire life could look and feel different. But you need to stop waiting for someone to come save you first, because it's not going to happen. The only person who can save you is you. And you need to realize that. Honestly, I think the most beautiful part about this whole realization is understanding that maybe the goal was to never be saved. Maybe the goal was to become the person that saves themselves. That is the real glow up. All right, y'all, that is the end of today's episode. That is all I had for you today. And I hope this felt like a wake up call, because sometimes we need that little kick in the ass. I know I needed a kick in the ass. Sometimes I still do need a kick in the ass because I'm still struggling on what the fuck I want to do with my life. But like, it's okay to not know, and it's fine. But sometimes I do need that little kick in the ass, okay? And as always, don't forget to like and comment and give me some feedback. I want to know if you like this topic, if you found it helpful, what you want to hear. I'm here to help, all right? And that's all I want this podcast to be. So if you want me to talk about anything, just let a bitch know, okay? Keep growing and keep glowing. I will see you next week.